Good morning and welcome. My name is Paul Valdez and thank you for joining me today for the Do Not Be Afraid of Watercolor series, a series for the professional beginner so that you don't make the mistakes that I made and have to go through the trial and error that I did. I'm hoping this will help you become a professional beginner. Today we will cover brushes. Please like and share this video with your fellow artists or beginners, and subscribe if you have not done so already. Brushes. Here's a group of brushes that I'm going to show you today. This is another long and involved subject that tends to be rather subjective, each and every individual. There are tons of major brands that create brushes, both synthetic and natural. So many, I won't even go into the brands other than what I use. And we'll talk about these brushes in a second. Let me say though that it is best for the professional beginner to buy a few high quality brushes rather than a lot of mid to low quality brushes. As a rule, Kolinsky Sable hair brushes rank amongst the best quality brushes. Let me show you one. Isn't that a gorgeous brush? Very light, very well balanced, nice belly, nice tip. Beautiful brush. But they can be expensive. This is definitely the most expensive brush I have. And when that beautiful tip right there, wears out, it gets a little frustrating because you know it's time to buy a new one. I do have to say that synthetic brushes have come a long way in the last few years. And I will admit that they do make up the bulk of my brush supply. Okay, now let me show you a few of my brushes, my workhorses, if you will. I've gone through hundreds of brushes and many different brands, and this is more or less what I use. So starting with the wash brands, these are two of the maybe 3 or 4 wash brands that I have. This is Silver Black Velvet, a 2-inch, and this is a Princeton 1.5-inch. You'll notice that this is a lot longer, so it's very flexible. This is shorter and it's a little more rigid. When I wet this one, you'll notice that it comes to a nice edge right there. Let me there you go. You see that edge? Beautiful chiseled edge. When I wet this big one, it doesn't quite come to that edge, but it has a nice belly, so it holds a lot of water. I've had this for a long time, as you can see, and it does a really good job. I really like both of those brushes, excuse me. These are quill brushes. This is a Harmony Squirrel quill. This is number 16. Take a look at this belly. Whoo, mama mia. And then look at the tip. It's amazing that all that can come to such a fine tip. And when you have that, you can make a really nice line, or you can make a really nice wash, whatever you want. But this is a beautiful brush. Holds a ton of water, a lot of paint. Good brush. That is a natural, of course, a square, and this is another quill, which is not. This is a synthetic. This is from Neptune. I've had this for a while, probably a couple of years, and you notice that it's not holding that fine tip but it still has a nice belly and does what I need. But Neptune makes that brush there. We're going to my square brushes. I have 3, and these 2 are Princeton Neptune. They're synthetic, and this is from Blick, which is an art supply company, and this is their Master Sable Kolinsky Flat. This is a number 12, and you'll notice how that has a nice belly and comes to a very fine point as well. Very nice brush. The creme de resistance, this is the Rosemary Company, which is a British company. They make brushes and ship them worldwide. This is the Kolinsky Sable number 12. As I mentioned, this is my most expensive brush that I have right now. I'd say this is probably about 6 months old, which is really good considering this beautiful point. I believe that these points will last a lot longer if you use tube watercolors and keep them moist like I do, rather than pen, and you get your brush in there and you have to do this to get some paint, and that tends to wear down the tip of your brush. So I think these last just a little longer because of my method of using brushes. These are 3 round brushes, as was this. This is also a round brush. This is a number 10, this is a number 6, and this is a number 10 as well. This is a company called Leow-Cornell, and it's a pretty decent brush for its price. It wasn't that expensive at all, and it has a really nice tip. Good quality brush. This one here is from Holbein. This was given to me as a sample, and I have to say you'll notice the difference in the belly. Look at this big belly, look at that little skinny belly, and the tip is not all that great if you compare it to the Kolinsky. So it was a sample. I don't know if I would buy it again. This is a Mimik, and this is their number 6, and it's just, that's all it is. I can't say much about that brush. This here is a liner brush or a script brush, and I just put some paint on there, and this is to make those nice long fine lines. Really a nice brush, and it's nice and long, so it holds a lot of water and paint, enough to let you do your signature, or depending on how long your name is, at least your first name. This is the number 1, and this is also from Princeton. This is my Workhorse. This is from Princeton Art Company. This is an oval wash, 3/4 inch. Some people call these a cat tongue. But you'll notice when I turn it sideways, look at the nice belly here, which holds a lot of paint and water. And then look how it comes to a nice chiseled point there. And that's great. Put a little paint on there if you want to go flat, or if you want to go just sideways. Whatever you want to do. This brush is my workhorse. I've had this for 2 years, and I have to admit that I use it probably more than any other brush, especially at the beginning of the painting, and it's a really nice brush. Here are my plein air paint brushes that I have purchased that come in this little case. This is a number 4, number 6, number 8, number 12. I'll pull out the 4 and show you. Comes in a nice metal casing. It says Mimik Kolinsky, number 4. Open it up like that. Put it together like that. It's a nice, light, well-balanced brush. And it does a nice job. You can do some nice little stuff with it, whatever you need to do. And I use these quite often, and they are really nice. The only thing you have to be careful, I usually give them a little push like that with my fingers to put them back in. I'll show you the number 12, and that's a nice brush too. You see the belly on that. Comes to a pretty decent point. I use these outdoors a lot, which means they get abused and used quite a bit, and pretty decent brush, and pretty decent point. So this is the number 12, as I mentioned. I don't know where the number 10 went, but so I again caress the front part, the belly, so I don't crimp those hairs in here as I put them in. Put them back in the case, and there's a little magnet that holds that together, and that's a nice little deal. Make a nice gift for an artist if you're interested in doing so. That's a great idea. So anyway, the way I carry my other brushes when I go places is using this little bamboo. And I will take my brushes, fit them in here. You do the same across, and then you just roll it up kind of like sushi. And then you tie them up there, and you're good to go. It saves the hair from getting all messed up. So that's it with watercolor brushes. And no, that's a very broad subject indeed. And I hope this will give you a head start in what could be a long trial and error period for you. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And y'all have a good day.